Yo, 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 yo. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your girl Neek, and you are tuned into Neek at Night. And tonight, or this morning, rather, I'm coming to give you guys the verdict as it just got handed down about Kyle Rittenhouse in this whole case. If you guys want to join the stream, this is more so a space where you can vent and give your thoughts on the matter. I really don't have too much commentary for it, but if you guys have been following the case, Kyle Rittenhouse was found not guilty on all charges. Okay, he was found not guilty on all charges. So I just kind of wanted to go live, open up the floor, and we already knew what it was given when the charges got dropped for the underage gun charge. When it was like he had no business having a gun, being underage, and then you drop that charge, and then we already knew what the rest was gonna give, anyways. So, Thomas B says self-defense is self-defense. Regardless, we knew what it was gonna give, anyways. So let me pull up this article and share my screen to show you guys the live updates on the matter. So this right here, just in, it says the jury finds Rittenhouse not guilty on all charges. So that is him, okay, and I believe his lawyer and them, being ecstatic that he was found not guilty. So it says Kyle Rittenhouse was found not guilty of first-degree intentional homicide and 4 other charges on Friday in connection to the fatal shooting of 2 people and wounding of another during last year's unrest in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Rittenhouse took the stand and testified before the jury that he acted in self-defense. He broke down in tears during the testimony as he recounted the shooting during the chaotic night of unrest. The prosecution sought to show Rittenhouse acted criminally and recklessly. The events of the night, almost all captured on video, were hardly in dispute, but the 12-person jury sided with the now 18-year-old teen who said that he was defending himself. Kiera?
Yeah, you can hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Once they dropped that gun charge, I just knew it was out the door. I just was like, it's over. I
Mm-hmm.
saw it coming. But I just feel like he should have been tried like a grown person. I don't care about him being 17. But it's just that white privilege thing, something that we're gonna deal with for the rest of our lives. We already see it coming before they even have a trial, if you get what I'm saying. It's just crazy. It's sad.
So, what do
Very
you think
sad.
about the self-defense aspect?
He shouldn't have been out there with a gun anyway. If you feel like you feel some type of way, stay home. Like, why are you out there in the first place? Whether you agree or disagree, I'd rather be home where it's safe. It was just he shouldn't have been out there. Period.
Mm-hmm. All righty. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. So, Shade Room is posting, I guess, his live moments when he found out.
Wisconsin versus Kyle Rittenhouse. As to the first count of the information, Joseph Rosenbaum. We, the jury, find the defendant Kyle H. Rittenhouse not guilty. As to the second count of the information, Richard McGinnis. We, the jury, find the defendant Kyle H. Rittenhouse not guilty. As to the third count of the information, unknown male. We, the jury, find the defendant Kyle H. Rittenhouse not guilty. As to the fourth count of the information,
Look how the judge looking in the back.
Anthony Huber, we the jury find the defendant Kyle H. Rittenhouse not guilty. As to the fifth count of the information, Gage Grosskreutz, we the jury find the defendant Kyle H. Rittenhouse not guilty. State of Wisconsin.
I'm gonna need him to stop with these fake ass tears. He needs to cut it out. But hold on, let me find the post where the judge was like the last black or some shit like that, he said. I'm trying to find it. In the meantime, while I find that, Tima,
Hello, Tima.
Hey.
Yes. I just wanted to say that I'm really not surprised that this is happening. And I'm not really upset by it because none of our people were hurt. If it had been like Ahmaud Arbery, I think protests would be occurring. But other white having his status, that's all. That's all I want to say. I love you,
So,
Nick. I watch the show all the time. Thank you for having me.
okay. So basically, you saying you don't really care because it was white on white crime.
No. I'm not surprised. I care because, of course, lives were lost. That's always sad.
Mhm.
But I'm not, as you know, I'm not gonna be. Oh, this is not fair. I mean, he here when look what else they're not. No one's really caring. You don't see anything, but he's white, so he gets the coverage. He status. We don't.
Mm-hmm. All righty. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. God bless.
All right. All right, so I found it. This is the post where he said something like the reason why he had let him pick his jury.
The clerk, the government official, drew the name out of the tumbler. It was a black, the black, the only black. There was nothing wrong with it. It was all okay. But what do they talk about? Optics nowadays? Is that the word for things? That was a bad optic, I thought. I think people feel better when they have control. So ever since that case, I have, which was, well, ever since that case, I've had an almost universal policy of having the defendant do the picks. And when the government official, drew the name out of the tumbler, it was a black, the only black. There was nothing wrong with it. It was all okay. But what do they talk about? Optics nowadays? Is that the word for things?
A black, the only black. So that was the judge talking about, the jury selection. So, I mean, child, Holly.
Hey Nick, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I feel like I was watching because I work from home now. I was watching like the trial in and out like for the last couple of weeks. And that judge, he was basically he showed his hand in my opinion. He was for what is his name? Kyle Rittenhouse. And honestly, I feel like for him to not be charged with not one of the 5 counts, I feel like this is just low key payback as well for Derek Chauvin being charged on all counts or whatever. So I was like, I'm shocked because not one. It's like I'm shocked, but I'm not because I was expecting maybe a lower charge,
Like
but for
manslaughter or something like
nothing,
that.
right? A lesser. I thought at least just one, but for nothing, and then all the fake tears and that little a few minutes ago that little fake pass out that he did or whatever. Like, come on. Hold on, it's my baby. But yeah.
I get you, girl. Get to the kids. Get to the kids.
But you feel what I'm saying? I feel like it was very calculated. I saw it coming. But I just hope in Georgia, I'm gonna say this. In Georgia, now there should be a different outcome. So if they want to ride and tell up the whole state of Georgia, I'm for it. And that's it.
Yeah, well, we'll see. It's only one black person on the jury for Ahmaud
Exactly.
Arbery. So he
Exactly.
definitely does not have a jury of his peers.
At
And
all.
the town is already racist as it is. So, I mean, we already know what that's going to give too.
And what's that quote, Neat? Because I can't say it verbatim right now, but it's like what they say, the justice system was not built for us. So hey, yeah. But I'm finna just watch.
All right,
on
thank you for coming on.
You're welcome.
All right, girl, gotta answer that door. Them kids is knocking. But yeah, so I just wanted to come on here real quick just to report that to you guys and see how you guys are feeling. Let me pull up a picture of the victims because a lot of people thought that the victims were black guys, and I just want to put up the victims real quick so you guys know who the actual victims in this case are. All right, so these are the two victims. So condolences to them. This is Joseph and Anthony, and this picture was provided by their family. So condolences to them. It was said that they was out there doing knucklehead stuff also though. So I don't know. It's just a mess. It's a mess. It's a mess. It's a mess. Um, but these are the two that he shot and killed that night. Hey, you got music playing and all that in the background. We can't have that. We cannot have that. Naya,
Hey Nick, I love you.
hey, love you back.
I want to start off by saying, to me, it's not about a black and white thing. Like I seen the video, and I just honestly feel like it was self defense. I'm not gonna lie,
Okay, enlighten us, girl. Enlighten us. Tell us why. We didn't I
because
didn't
he was running from them. He was trying to get away, and they was chasing after him. And it's like, why would you chase after somebody with a gun and try to grab it?
Mm-hmm.
And the man that got killed, like they said he was bipolar or something. I'm like, don't quote me word for word, but I'm just saying, like, to me, it seemed like it was self defense from what I seen.
Okay. So in the video, break it down to us. He's running away from
He
them.
was running away, like it's on YouTube. He was running several videos. He was running away, and it's like somebody hit him with something. He fell on the ground, and then this one dude tried to kick him in the head, and then the guy who got shot in the arm pulled out a gun on him, and that's when the guy Kyle shot him.
Okay. So someone in the chat is saying that's not what happened, and they're saying that he ran after he shot them.
No, anybody could go on YouTube and look at the video. Anybody could. He was running away, and somebody hit him with something. He fell, and that's when somebody tried to kick him in the head. And the guy that survived, pulled out a gun because they played the video in court, and he shot him in the hand. And the guy who got killed ran after him between some cars. So, like, from what I've seen so far, it's like he wasn't the aggressor. Like, he was
I'm
trying to
not
get
about to
away.
pull up the video. Somebody said pull up the video. I'm not gonna pull up the video on the stream. And then Black Buttercup, I don't understand how you so confused. You are so confused. You said, why did you say you knew it would be BS if you didn't follow the case? I told you the moment I seen that high elected officials was paying for his GoFundMe and raising large amounts of money before the facts even came out, before all of this stuff even came out, they was donating to him. I knew that what the verdict was gonna be. How you so confused about that? I don't understand. It's giving weird. I don't know. Poetic.
Hey, Lee, can you hear me?
Hey.
All right, so this is my first time doing this. I don't usually do this, but this is a good debate. So my opinion on the self-defense is it don't work after you provoke the crowd. He came off the property. He was only there to protect the property. I feel like as a 17-year-old, you shouldn't have been there trying to protect property in the first place. But he came off the property, provoked the crowd. Then he left the property, followed the crowd after it got mad at the whole group. He was involved. He followed. It was a YouTuber doing a live. He told Kyle, stay on the property. You're provoking the crowd. They have their own medics. They don't need you. But he followed anyway. But I feel like you can't agitate somebody and then just because you got a gun, use it after you scared because you might get beat up. And so that's my opinion. And that's how I feel. I feel like you can't use self-defense after you provoke somebody. And I love your show.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on. It seems like people who watched it, everybody got conflicting stories about it.
You can't watch the YouTube videos and YouTube shows about people who got it. You have to watch the trial. The prosecution put on a weak case. They really didn't go at people. They put the wrong people on the stand. They let their own witnesses like pretty much be for the defense. You know, like I don't
But
know.
Nick, could I say something?
Go
Okay,
ahead.
Okay, the guy who got shot in the hand that survived or whatever, he admitted to like the defense that Kyle didn't shoot him until he pulled out a gun on Kyle. So it's like, I mean, everybody got their own opinion, I guess.
that's true. But I think that everybody was trying to be heroes, which I wouldn't have tried to do. But I think they was trying to be heroes, and even he said, because he contradicted himself. The dude that had the gun, he said that he was gonna try to disarm Kyle, but he didn't have it in him to shoot him. So that's why he ended up getting shot. And I think that I think that everybody was feeling like how you feel, that it was self defense. But if you provoke the crowd and then you shoot somebody,
But how
the
do we know
crowd,
he provoked the crowd though? That's what I mean,
because
everybody keeps saying that.
it was proven in the trial. It's video. It's countless video. It was plenty of YouTubers out there. The YouTuber literally told him on camera, um, why are you agitating the crowd? Just stay on the property. Like that's where it all started from. And when he left that car source on 59th and walked towards 63rd, I felt like he was doing that to pick with the crowd in a kind of subtle way, and it worked. And he got to do what he wanted to do. He went out there to shoot people. That's what he wanted
Well,
to
if
do.
that's the case, then the guy who pulled out a gun on him went out there to shoot people too, if that's the case.
No, he was a medic, sweetheart. And when after he walked up on Cal at first and was like, "Who got shot? Did you shoot somebody?" And Cal told him he didn't shoot nobody. And
But
then
listen, you saying that he went there to shoot people. The survivor who pulled out a gun, if that's the case, then that goes for him too, because he had a weapon as well.
I understand what you're saying, but in the trial, he said he pulled out his gun because he wanted to disarm Kyle. But he said he had a handgun because he was only out there to be a medic. He didn't need a big gun because that's gonna get in his way. But
A
he
gun
did
is a
say,
gun.
"You right," but he did say he pulled out his gun because he wanted to disarm him. He
I
wanted
mean,
to be
but
a
who's to say
hero.
if he's telling the truth about that? That's what I'm saying. I just feel like like I said, everybody has their own opinion, and I get that. But it's like you can't even really say that that's the truth because I don't know. It
Did
just
you watch the trial, Naya?
yes, I did.
You didn't see in the when they showed the video
I
when he
watched the
ran.
trial. I did watch it. I've been watching it. I
I know,
have.
but I'm just saying, did you see that part when they showed when he walked up on Kyle and asked him what happened, who got shot?
Yeah, he
Because he
was
was a medic.
exactly. He was walking with him. And they was talking, and like they were. He was so. It's like to me, if somebody is aggressive, right, and you
Yes,
walking with them, and they got a gun, you talking to them. How like at that point, how could they pose a threat to you?
he wasn't posing a threat. I felt like the dude that had the handgun was just more mature. He didn't go in with a hot head. He was trying to figure out what happened,
I know,
who
but from the
needed
video, they
help.
was talking to each other. They was walking inside each other talking.
Yeah. But he just said that he ain't shoot nobody. He told I don't know what his name was, but he told him that he ain't shoot nobody. So then when everybody said stop him, that's when he went back towards him, and then everybody was trying to stop Kyle. And then he fell, and the dude said
No,
in
he
the
didn't
crowd,
fall. Somebody. He didn't. I mean, he probably was. I know they were chasing after him. All I'm saying is,
they
people
was.
chasing after you, and you gonna be scared too. You probably start shooting too. But he was trying to get away from them.
Yeah, he tried. It looked like he tried, but it's all in how you look at it, I guess. Everybody, see it different.
All
Right.
right, we got Mawu.
Yes. So I didn't catch, what everybody was just talking about just now, but I watched this case when it was live. Like I actually watched the full case from the beginning to the end, the live stream, not like the social media clips of it. And all the perceptions that you guys have is what I had before I actually watched the live video. When you guys watch this live video, you will see that number one, everybody down there had guns. The people who were protecting property and the people who were destroying properties, both sides had guns. When they argue about how the 17-year-old in the case got thrown out, the court literally opened up the little legal books and they cited a case that the prosecutors were trying to use to put him down. And the case said the law says that people who are under the age of 18 can hold these weapons, whether it's a legitimate law or not. It was in there, and that's why the judge had no choice but to rule that out, because he is under the age of 18 at the time. he could hold a gun, which is not nobody's fault. It was whoever wrote the law. So
Right.
that's the reason
Right.
why they threw out the whole gun charge. As far as the self-defense, first of all, this little boy was out there trying to help people. Number one, he was out there trying to help the black people. So, and it was many witnesses, both black and white, who confirmed that he was out there helping people. He had the gun because he was trying to protect himself, because he knew there were people out there who had guns that were violent. But he was out there walking through the streets. It was a girl who had an injury to her shoulder, a black girl, and he helped her. There was a black person who had an injury to her ankle. She sprained her ankle, and he helped her. He was walking through the street screaming, friendly, friendly, letting them know, hey, I'm not, even though I may be white, I'm not against y'all. I'm here trying to help y'all. It was BLM, it was Antifa, and then it was people who were trying to help. Antifa was out there trying to turn the BLM protest into ignorance, and it was white people. And they come down in buses and they turn our protest into ignorance by burning stuff, by framing us to make us look like we're ignorant and we're the ones burning stuff. It is them burning buildings, and the Antifa guys are the ones who got shot. They were out there calling the crowds niggers. I'm not sure if I can say that on here, but they were calling the crowds the N-word. And it's on video. The guy Rosenbaum who got shot, he was out there taunting the protesters, calling them the N-word. He was jumping on things, burning things, setting things on fire, throwing rocks at them. They had gas bombs. They were throwing the gas bombs at the protesters. So they were attacking the protesters, trying to turn the protest into ignorance. This little boy got away from his people accidentally because he got a phone call that said, "Hey, there's a fire on this street. Can you please go put the fire out?" He had his fire extinguisher and the gun to his strapped on him, and he was running down the street trying to go put out the fire. As he's running down the street to put out the fire, those white people who were caught saying the N-word and trying to throw gas bombs at the protesters hid behind cars because they seen him coming up. They then jumped up when they seen him and they ambushed him. He seen them and he started running away from them. He didn't want no problems. He started running away from them. They were chasing him down the street. It was about 5 to 10 of them chasing him. Imagine you're 17 years old. These overly grown white men with guns and gas bombs are chasing you down the street.
Right.
He's running, trying to get away from them. And as they get him to a corner, one of them shoots a gun in the air, like shoot. So he turns around to see what's going on. And as he turns around, the Rosenbaum guy that was using the N-word jumps at him, plunges at him. So he shoots because he had nowhere to run to. After he shoots the first guy, he tries to go turn himself into the police. He starts running down the street, going toward the police barricade to turn himself in. As he's running down the street, people are screaming, "Oh, he shot somebody." Again, the ignorance of our community. We don't listen to see the whole truth. They're assuming that he probably shot a black person, or they don't know. So they just start chasing him even more. Now he got like 30, 40 people chasing him. As they're chasing him, though, he's still running. One guy walks up to him and he hits him upside the head with a rock. After he hits him in the head with the rock, another guy, and all the guys I'm talking about are white, by the way. And then another guy comes with a skateboard and hits him on the side of his head with a skateboard at full force. It knocks him to the ground and does a whole 360 where it flips him around.
Don't forget
After he's
jump
on
kick,
the
man.
ground, after being hit in the head with a skateboard, another guy comes and stomps him in the head. After he gets stomped in the head, the guy comes back with the skateboard again and hits him in the head again with the skateboard. After he gets hit in the head with the skateboard, the guy grabs his gun and pulls it away from him. If you watch the video, you can literally see the gun almost leaving his hands.
That's what I
After
was
the gun
talking about.
almost left his hands, he shot because the guy was pulling his gun away from him, and they just knocked him in the head with like 5 different things. He shot because the guy was pulling the gun. After he shot, the last guy who got shot that didn't die, the one who was afraid for y'all to see his social media because he's probably racist, the one who came in there with the lawyer who was scared, who was being protected by the state, that same white guy, he walked up to him with a gun in his hand. With a gun in his hand, he turned the gun to the boy's head while he's on the ground, like he's about to shoot him in the head. Then the boy pulls the gun and shoots him too. What, the whole thing just blows my mind. Like, This little boy was trying to get away. He only shot at the people who were literally hit him in the head with rocks and skateboards, and the people who are pointing guns at him.
Was there mention that he tried to, or he said days before that he was gonna go and shoot looters?
No, that was not even part of the thing. He literally, and they try to make it seem like, oh, he came into town out of the state, like he was, like he literally came in. He brought the gun into the state, coming to kill people. First of all, he bought that gun with his friends a long time ago, and he bought it legally under their little crazy laws as in these different states. But the gun was at his friend's house because he knew that he couldn't have the gun at his house legally, so he always keep the gun at his friend's house. And whenever they go to shoot, like whenever they go hunting and stuff, he will go get the gun. So the gun was already in Kenosha. The boy lives out of state, but he works in Kenosha. It's kind of like a border thing where you're like 20 minutes over the line type thing. Like your state is like 20 minutes away from the next state besides, like the DMV area. He works in Kenosha. His father lives in Kenosha, and his grandmother lives in Kenosha. So he had all the right to be. He wasn't an outsider coming into the state with the gun. The gun was already in Kenosha. He was out there, like, even they even have pictures of him the day before the shooting, of him cleaning the graffiti that's on the wall. Like, he was out there trying to help people and trying to protect the protesters from the ignorance of these people who was out there throwing bombs and trying to distract the message that we try to put out there. Every time there's a protest with BLM, George Soros or whoever has these people on boats and buses and stuff coming down, and they always come to disrupt the protest. They turn it ignorant, they turn it into riots, they start burning stuff so that we don't have a voice and we can't get our message across. And then Black people, we don't even see it, and we always fall into their nonsense and we get mad with it's like we make them win when we follow the mindset that they want us to follow. That's how we let them win. If we actually think for ourselves and we actually read full stories, we actually watch full videos, that's the number one way where we can actually become successful and get what we want. But we don't, because we fall into their ignorant traps, like this trap where they put out there, oh, Kenosha got white man killed protest. And first of all, the people that was there were not part of the protest. They were Antifa. They were not BLM. Nothing about them said that they were BLM. Their social media, they were not out there trying to protest. They were out there trying to cause havoc. It's very simple.
Okay, I'm trying to pull up where there's a
Welcome back. And then
YouTube saying that he meant to shoot. I'm trying to see where they.
Oh, you're talking about the guy who got shot in the hand and didn't die. He has a Facebook post. This is the guy who, when the FBI asked him for his account information and his phone, he didn't want to give it up. The Kyle guy that was on trial, he gave up everything because he had nothing to hide. The one that you're talking about, he's the one who got shot in the hand but didn't die because
No,
after
they're saying that Kyle was the one who said he wished to. Hold on, I'm trying to look it
that
up.
you're talking about, somebody said on their social media account that they wish they would have killed somebody.
No, I'm guessing it's saying that he was ahead of time stating that he wanted to and planned to shoot the looters, but I'm trying to pull it up.
No, so they're talking about, okay, I remember what you're talking about. They brought this up in the trial. It was something that he said like months and months, like a long time ago. They were digging into his stuff, and he was saying that he made a comment to his friends saying like, dang, if these people who come here and they try to destroy the community, I wish I can like, they were talking about how they wish they can do things to the people who are destroying the community, but it wasn't like he put that and then came down there. That was like years ago, like things that he said a long time ago that's not even relevant to this case.
Oh, okay, so prior to how I'm trying to get an exact date because people are saying that it was days before. that he said that he planned to shoot the looters. I'm trying to pull it up.
Yeah, he didn't. It was definitely nothing in there that he said, I'm trying to shoot the looters at all. Because that was the one thing that the prosecutors literally was trying to find anything that they can use. They couldn't. Everything that they brought out, it was struck down because it was either incorrect or it was not relevant, meaning the time frame to the case, it was not relevant to the case. I mean, the trial, the live trials is still online. Like y'all can still, even though it's not live anymore, they saved it. So you can still literally, and not you per se, but like the people in the comments, you can literally just go back. You don't have to like go through like posts that were posted on Twitter. Like you can literally just go back to the trial and watch it. That's the best thing to do, and form your own opinion instead of these clipped things that they put out trying to create different narratives to sway you to be. They just want people to be angry so that you can go into the streets and give them reasons to shoot you some more. That's how I see it. They want us to get ignorant so that they can attack us more, and by purposely showing targeted things towards our community, it causes us to just act. Martin Luther King got us where he got us because he spoke. He went out talking with words. Like he went out saying this A, B, C, and D. This is what we want. This is what we're going to get done. And he focused on it. What we are doing is we're allowing them to come in and destroy our protest and turn it into ignorance and turn it into violence. That doesn't accomplish anything. And so and you might even ask, why am I so emotional? Why am I so loud? That is the thing that irks me the most, is that every time protesters go out to speak their piece, they bring in a bus of these people to try to make it into riots and to make it ignorant and to take away. And the next thing you know, all the protesters done been moved out because they don't want to be around that stuff. And then there's nothing left but rioters. And then it goes in history, BLM equals rioters. Meanwhile, the BLM people were not the ones rioting. But then it's framed on us that people from the future now who's going to look back, they're only going to see the headlines. And the headlines are going to say BLM were the ones that were rioting. It's not BLM that riots. It's the people they bring into the towns purposely to disrupt the riots.
All right. Somebody in the chat said they wanted to ask you a question, and they said, do you think a black man with the AR rifle would be acquitted the same?
I don't know until I see it. I don't prejudge anything. For me, the way I see it is that when I want racism to die, period, meaning that I don't contribute to racism by identifying color and pointing out color, this white person, that black person. I don't see that. I judge it when it's in my face. So when I see it in my face that there's a black man who has a rifle and it happens in the exact same situation, literally where he's walking down the street and people are chasing him, and then I would judge it the same. But you can't compare apples to oranges. You have to compare the exact same circumstances to the exact same circumstances. Meaning that even like with police, if you want to say that a police officer is racist, that means that you have to follow that one police officer and see how he treats different races differently. You don't compare one police officer in one state to another police officer in another state.
Okay, well, this video right here, he says that he's gonna start shooting. Hold on, wait. I'm trying to listen.
Bro, I wish I had I'd start shooting. Like one of them has a weapon.
Okay, right here it says, this is him. Did you see this video where he said that he wished he had his AR, that he would start shooting at the people?
I can't see what video that you're looking at. I can just see your face right now.
Hold on, let me pull it up. Hold on, let me pull it up. Let me zoom out on here.
And when you say him, who are you talking about?
Kyle. So this is a viral video of Kyle Rittenhouse saying that he wanted to shoot people with his AR-15 gun as he was talking to a friend they were recording looters inside a CVS. As he said incriminating words. The video was played in court by prosecutors. So this is Kyle saying that if he had his gun, that he would shoot the looters. So this, I think this is what the people are talking about. Let me share the screen. Hold on. All right. So right here it says, this is new incriminating video of Kyle Rittenhouse, shows him talking about shooting people with his AR-15 gun. And then right here it says, with the trial of Kyle Rittenhouse underway, prosecutors are bringing new evidence to light in effort to convict him. He continues to claim self-defense was the reason he shot 3 protesters. However, a new incriminating video of Kyle Rittenhouse surfaced in court seems to confirm that he planned to shoot people. As you may or may not know, Kyle Rittenhouse shot a man named Anthony Huber after he hit him with his skateboard. As he was laying on the ground, he shot Huber in his stomach area, which led to the death. It says the viral footage shows Kyle Rittenhouse saying he wanted to shoot people with his AR-15 gun as he was talking to a friend. They were recording looters inside a CVS. As he said the incriminating words, the video was played in court by the prosecutors. And this is the video right here.
That one of them had the weapon. She hung up.
Now, is that a black looter or a white looter? Can't tell.
Bro, I wish I had the I'd start shooting rounds at them. That one of them had the weapon. She hung up. Bro, I wish I had the I'd start shooting rounds at them. That one of them had the weapon.
Okay, so that's so when people say that he said beforehand that he wanted to shoot the looters, this doesn't seem like this was something that was years and
See,
years.
that's what I was saying, is that the part that I'm talking about was the part in the court trial where they brought up how him and his friend was having a conversation through text, and that the text message was a long time ago. And so that's why when you said something, because you said it was, he said it through social media or he said it online. So I'm thinking you're talking about the text, or the guy who got shot in the hand. He went on social media and said that he wished he would have shot people or shot him. That's what I thought you were talking about. What
No,
you're showing.
I said that people said that he said prior to the shooting that, you know, he had plans on shooting the looters. That's what they
Yeah,
were
even
talking about
like
in the
even
chat.
what you just said right now, that he had plans, you being in the moment and reacting to something that you're seeing, which every human, we have all said things in the moment, is not you saying that, oh, I'm planning to shoot people that I'm going to see in the future, and I'm actually putting it into the into provision, like I'm planning to do it. So that's why the
But
courts
if you
dismissed it.
if I as a person say, you know, damn, I really want to slap the crap out of this lady, okay, and then the next week I slap the crap out of, or you know, or say I want to slap the crap out of a white woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then next week I slap the crap out of a white woman. It's still
I mean,
my,
I get that.
like my mindset. Like that would be mindset. So it's
Okay,
like
so let me ask you
that
this
may
back.
not have been a deliberate plan per se, but that
Right.
speaks to his mindset.
But let me ask you this back, right? So let's say that you're seeing a white woman that's like being mean to a black child, right? And you're looking at it and you say, damn, I wish I can slap this white woman, right? And then, like, let's say, like you said, a week later, a week or two later, you're walking down the street, minding your business, and a white woman comes to you and hits you in your face and then knocks you to the ground, and then you slap the white woman. So you're comparing you initiating like you wanting to initiate a slap versus somebody, like it's circumstances that cause the slap. It's like it's two different situations. You can't compare the two.
Yeah, but if you come down there with a gun and you didn't have no business being down there with a gun, and you already knew the first time you didn't have your gun, then that does kind of speak to a mindset. So I do get what the people are saying. If
Well,
he at one,
he
if
was not. He
if
wasn't
he
there
was,
at the protest. He wasn't. He
if
wasn't.
he was at a previous protest, right? And
That
he
wasn't a
did not,
protest that he was at, though. It was just rioters in the street. People were just doing things. That wasn't the actual downtown
if he
Kenosha
was at
where the
a
burning happened.
previous where there was looters, they were protesting at there too. If he was at a previous protest and he did not have his gun because he knew that people were looting there,
How do you
and
know he didn't have his gun?
he said, I just showed you the video. He just said, I wish I had my AR. I would shoot them.
And that was him
So,
saying that? Because I didn't see the video.
yes, that was Kyle.
My thing is that, listen, for me,
I'm
whether
just
this
telling
man,
you, I
whether
understand
this
what
man,
people
let
are
me say
saying
this first
as
real
far
quick.
as mindset. So if I go to a protest, right, and I don't have my gun, and I say, damn, I wish I had my gun, I would shoot them. Then you go to a protest and then you bring your gun and then you shoot somebody. I can understand how people could feel like, well, that was his
Yeah, and
mindset
there's listen,
all
and there's
along to
understanding and all that. That's not what this is about, though. That's what I'm for me, my personal opinion. If you want to ask me my personal opinion about all of this, my anger, I don't give a crap about anybody that was in this case. I don't care about the boy, I don't care about none of them. My issue in this whole thing, the reason why I even spoke in your chat, the reason why I'm on here is the fact that in our community, we are purposely targeted. We are given half-assed information to get us stirred up. That and my whole thing is let's look at the whole thing from the beginning to the end and make our judgments. That's my stance on it. As far as the details, whether you think he should be guilty or not, that's not for me to say. Me, if I was a juror, I don't know what I would have done, whether I would have voted guilty or not. I'm just saying, before you make your assumptions, look at the whole thing, right? Because the case was literally about I think it was 2 days that that the whole case were surrounding. It was 2 specific days. It was 2 days of protests that the case was surrounding. And in the first day of the protest, they looked at his actions, and then they looked at his actions on the second day of protest. This video that you're showing wasn't either of the two. So why they dismissed that and pushed that to the side, that would just be the mindset of the judges. They didn't go into super details that I seen. All I know is that from what I seen, which I watched literally the live video from the point from that the guy who got shot in the hand, from him all the way into the end, that's when I seen it. Because in the beginning, I was to the people like, oh, what is this? This is stupid and all that, until I actually started watching it. And when you start watching it and seeing the details that is not in the media, your perception of what happened, it will change. Like whether you agree that this little boy, 17 years old, should have a gun, who thinks a child should have a gun? I don't think anybody should need a gun. I wish we lived in a world where no humans needed guns and we were all just mind our own businesses and be peaceful amongst each other. That's what I wish. But as far as him having a gun, as far as all the little details in the case, if you actually look at the case, you will see like, okay, this is why they did it. This is why they did it. It's not, oh, they did it because he was white or they did it because he's not black. Everything that they did, they had a justification for it. Whether you agree with the justification, that's just
well, just to push back on that, there is a lot, like for instance, not even capping for R. Kelly or anything like that, but the way that they charged him, they didn't like, for instance, he was supposed to be charged for messing with underage girls, right? And the egregious act that he had committed was he's talking to these young minor girls, right? But they could not get him, quote unquote, on that. So they found a justification to charge him for the RICO. So it's like, just because they find a justification, like you can always find a justification to like charge somebody. That isn't, or
yeah,
charge,
that's what I'm saying.
charge.
So what you're
I'm
saying is
saying like
that
you can find a justification to charge or not charge.
yeah, I mean, I get that, but I think what I'm saying is that their justification that they put, trust me, like the R. Kelly, whatever you just said, I agree with you like 1000% that the way they treated him towards other people who probably have done worse is very clearly different, right? But in this specific case, when you see the justification that they use is what I'm saying. That you have to, like what you're saying, right? You're looking at R. Kelly and you're seeing the justification that they use in R. Kelly, and you're saying, this justification seems fishy. I feel like it's this and that. But what I'm saying is that if you look at the justifications they use in this boy's case, you will see that it's literally in their little legal books, and it's like, damn, what can you say? It's like, oh, it's in there. So it's like, you can't make any assumptions about it and say, well, maybe it's because of this, because it's literally, it was written in the books that they were reading, like in the law
I
book
get what you're saying, but what
N3.
I'm saying is, it's all kind of stuff that, like, for the people who they find guilty for weed for years and years and years in life, I'm sure there's a justification to not charge them life in there. Like, just because it's, you know what I'm saying? Like, they can't.
Well, I mean, so then listen to this. So then if we feel like the law is geared to hurt our community more, then that may be the message that we need to attack. Then we need to say, okay, let's attack it at the legal level. Let's see what these laws are and let's force them to rewrite it. But as far as the judges and the lawyers, their job is to use the law that's currently available to them. Just like you can't expect
that the judges and the lawyers aren't corrupt.
Aren't what? Corrupt? Are they corrupt or correct?
Corrupt.
They are beyond corrupt. That's what I'm saying. It's like, and that's the thing too with our community, right? Every time somebody speaks a certain topic, they get all this prejudgment. Oh, you're probably one of them, or you're this. You don't know my mindset as far as how I feel about any of this. I am simply just stating that within this specific case, right? If you look at their reasons that they put up for each thing that they threw out, it was in the books. So and whether the books are racist or whether the books are geared to try to hurt our people more than theirs, that's a whole different conversation. But we can't expect these lawyers and judges and stuff. Yes, they are very corrupt. But when I'm telling you, when this case here, if this case isn't self-defense, I don't know what is. That's all. If this case isn't self-defense and you are walking down the street, there was a young boy in another city, a black boy, and that's even something that y'all can argue. There's actually a black boy in another city in North Carolina where he got killed during protest, actually. And I even think he was killed by a protester. He got shot. He worked downtown. He was trying to go to his job. He wasn't even part of it. He was just trying to get to work. He got killed. Was there any national news about him? How did his case go, right? That's something that y'all can argue that why is it that this case got attention because it was all white people and this case didn't get attention. But as far as this specific case and why he got off, he literally did everything to avoid the situation. He ran. What do you want? What else do you want him to do? Whether you say, well, why did he have a gun? They all had guns. The people chasing him had guns too.
All right, wait a minute, Mal. Let's go to you.
Hey, Neek.
Hey, what's your thoughts?
Hello to all the night owls in the broad daylight. I'm so glad that you went live about this. And it's been burning my tongue to speak about this. And I can't even go live on my channel. I got a strike last night. I didn't even do nothing just for sharing that video of the girl getting her ass whooped by the black dude like a whole bunch of black women do all the time. I didn't even say nothing, Neek. But I wanted to talk about this. First of all, what you was just saying, Mawu, earlier, when it comes down to being premeditated, you can premeditate something in 30 seconds. I can look at somebody right now and say, I'm about to fuck his ass up. And then I do it. That's premeditated. Okay? It don't got to be over a course of time. Okay? And then the jury. The jury was all white. He had a part in the jury selection. Okay?
Yeah, what?
He had a part in his own jury selection.
This Kyle guy, did you see him? Did you see the process of him selecting the jury? Because I seen the process. Did you see it?
But what I'm saying is I didn't see it because it's too triggering. I already know.
So wait, please.
Can I finish?
I don't want to argue with you. I just want to tell you how it happened before you go.
Am I going to be able to speak? Oh my God!
Neat. Can I just tell you guys how he picked the jury?
Let her explain the jury selection.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Listen, for me, I'm all about our people coming together. Like there's no beef there. I'm not trying to fight with you. Everybody that is black, we have all experience. Whether you are so-called this kind of black or that kind of black, we have all experienced it. Trust me. So no one black person feels more entitled than the next. We all have opinions. Okay.
Well, just tell us the jury.
Anyways, so with the jury selection process, What they did is that the courts put all the names of the jury in a bag, right? They walked up to him with the bag and he had to turn his head, and then he picked names out of the bag. And he picked about, I think it was like 7, or I don't know how many numbers of names. And then whatever names he picked was what was used. He didn't actually see the people he was picking before he picked it. He just picked random names from a bag.
Okay, now go ahead, Yusuf.
And do you think that's appropriate? It doesn't matter. Who do you think put the hat? I could put a whole bunch of people's names in the hat. They're going to be all the names I chose. So they all a white jury, and I let him pick. They don't let black criminals pick, and regardless of race, right is right and wrong is wrong. And we have to start acknowledging that. The issue here is that the system is ran by them for them, and they don't have no interest in doing what's right. It ain't about saying this and that. People not making stuff about race when they see that things are about race. Far too long, this system has been made to disenfranchise us. For they come together as regular citizens. They was regular people who put on suits and decided they was going to fight, and they was going to be the cops, and they was going to be the slave patrol and all of that. It was always wrong for you to run away or fight for your freedom, but it was completely legal to keep you there. Things being legal don't make them moral. Okay? This nation has been known to have morally corrupt laws grounded in racism, and we see it play out every day. R. Kelly don't got nothing to do with this case. Okay, R. Kelly didn't get to pick his jury out of a hat, and they weren't a jury of his peers, and he was still
No,
wrong.
I wasn't trying to compare him in that sense. I was just trying to say that they can use
Judgment.
their judgment for things to work how they want it to work.
Exactly.
That was kind of the point that I was kind of trying to make. Like, how
And then can I say one thing too that we all forget?
Don't charge you if they don't want to charge you. They're gonna, that's the point that I was trying to make.
And the other thing too, Yusuf, like what you're saying, as far like every state, I don't know why we don't realize that each state has their own laws. Like the United States of America is called United because all the states are united, but each state is kind of like their own miniature country, and they all have their own laws and regulations. So like the judge actually said, he said himself that the process that they have as far as letting the defendant pick from their the little bag, he said himself that he thinks their state is actually the only state that does that. So you can't say, oh well, why is it that they let him do it? And this, because if it was a black person in that state in that same court, they would have the same option. But of course, yeah, a black person is, if you're comparing a black person in Los Angeles to a black person that's in this state or whatever.
I think what Yusuf was saying was, even if you let somebody pick out of a thing, like you could just repeat 6 of the same names up in there. Like I think he was trying to say like it could still be rigged type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, but that goes very deep, then. I mean, if we're going that deep, that can go very deep. But as far as like black people, the judge, that statement that you were saying, Neek, earlier about the judge making a comment about black people, what he was actually trying to do is that he was basically trying to say that actually makes it fair for all of us, because the complaint was that out of all the people that was in the audience, y'all kicked out the one black person that probably could have had my back because you let the clerk pick. And he could have probably helped me, or it's like y'all purposely try to make it an all white thing against me. So the judge says from now on, no matter who is sitting here, I'm going to let them pick so that they don't feel like we're only picking the white people, or that a white person feel like we're only picking the black people. Y'all just pick out of the names. That's what the judge was saying.
Every city.
We're going to go to Robbie Blue.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
All I want to basically say is, and I think, well, I'm pretty sure everybody understands the gravity of what just happened, because it was one of my greatest fears. And I'm going to echo, stand by and stand down. These white supremacists have been waiting to be deputized, and this ruling is going to open the door so that in the future they can get what they want. Number two, if Ahmaud Arbery was in Kyle Rittenhouse situation and he had a firearm running from people who were trying to be vigilantes, right? And he shot, would he have gotten the same result? Would are black people allowed to to claim self-defense? That's kind of like the main issue, and that's why my main issue, even in the Kyle case, was he provocated and provoked those people because he kept pointing his weapon. Whether you agree with Grandmaster Jay or not, He's being tried right now for pointing his weapon at officers that were on the rooftop. So that's what I mean. Like, if I'm white and I say so, law. The problem is not just the law; it is the people interpreting the laws, because we can't legislate love. And I don't think black people collectively, maybe as individuals, we get it, but the fact that somebody like Trump got elected in the first place, and the fact that this past election, the country was basically split. The only reason why he lost was because of the virus. I won't say the name because of the algorithm, because there was enough people who lost family members that it wasn't fun to play Karen and Darren and Ken, because collectively we all went through an experience. But we're going to have another Pharaoh that's going to have a hardened heart, and these white supremacists, they feel emboldened. Why? Because it's wartime for them, because it's about genetic survival. They want this to be a police state like South Africa. We keep twerking, we keep playing games, we keep trying to say intellectual, we keep trying to sound intellectual and give these white supremacists a pass. You're a nigga to them. I don't care if you're
Let me
Barack
ask you something real
Obama.
quick.
You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask
I
you a
don't care.
question, Rubble Blue. So look, like as
Go
far
ahead.
as you know what I'm saying, us keep blaming the white man, like we have to understand, like
I'm not
white man
blaming
put
the
us in a
white man.
hold on,
That's
wait, hold,
that's where you're getting me wrong. You didn't
but
even
hold
let
on
me
real quick,
finish, brother.
but hold
But
on,
go ahead.
hold on, bro. Can I speak? All right, so look, I'm gonna let you and I'm gonna let you speak too. What I'm saying is that as black people, you know, anything that happens as far as like the racist shit, like we already know that. Like we already know like white people been fucking us over for 400 years, right?
All right,
But
let's not
one
do so many curse words, but
all
go
right,
ahead.
my bad. But one thing that we need to understand is that white people do something that we don't do, and that's work together. We kill each other, right? We do it all the time. In Chicago, we got black people in gang wars killing kids. We don't go out and march out in the streets for that. We only do it when it's a white man getting justice for something that a black man should get justice for, right? Which is the whole opposite. And we'll march on the streets and be upset about that, but we won't sit down and really check ourselves. Like, if anything, we're backtracking. That's what we're really doing. If a cop shot an Indian, knowing that the Indians really don't even kill each other, they have a
So this
better
brother
chance of
cut
getting
me
their
off
word
for this.
across and getting more
Do y'all
justice.
see what
That way.
happened?
You know what
So
I'm
this
saying?
brother basically cut me off in the middle of my stream of thought to just make some Fox News bullet points. That's
Fox
what's
News
part of the
bullet
problem
points. What
too,
are you
right
talking
there.
about?
Listen
See,
to what I'm saying, bro. You brought up all that crap about Chicago and all that. Look, we're human beings. There's crime everywhere. And if you want to talk about crime statistics, bro, there's more white on white crime or people killing people. It's all about how you politicize it. The media, when they want to politicize and have an excuse in a police state for executing us, like what's going to happen hyperbolically. It's not about today. That's what y'all are not going to get. I want us to have this same conversation 8 years from now, because what's going to happen now, whether it's a protest or whether it's whatever, they were already opening up the door with the stand your ground law. They're just extending it now even more, that anytime somebody non-black feels threatened, now there's this gray area. We can have all this intellectual debate. We could talk about a handful of dusty niggas that have been exploited
I
over
live
drug violence, right? But
I live in the state of PA,
the
bro.
end result is, if we're truly working together, one, we ain't gonna talk over each other because I waited till the sister acknowledged me.
I mean, you've
Number
been talking
two,
the whole time. You've been talking
right.
for damn near
right, and I'll
25
let the
minutes, bro.
sister cut me off because
You've been
it's
Can I?
her
talking for
show,
damn
right?
near 25 minutes.
All right,
Right.
wait, let's
Have
go
I
to
talked 25 minutes? My
Nusi.
bad.
Nusi hasn't spoke yet.
Mhm.
Hi, Neek and panel. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I wanted to say that in this case, I felt like the judge was biased. I do feel that the laws that he ruled by are actually, as Mawu said, they're written, and the only way to change things like that is to start voting and put someone new
Amen.
on the chair and in the offices to, maybe see if things can be facilitated a little better. And I also wanted to say that Kyle, um I believe he had that gun and he was running around like he's playing Call of Duty, and I think he was itching to use it. The people that he shot initially, he shot one person because he was scared. They can't. He was going to use a gun if he got scared. So that he got scared. The other people, he shot them they were chasing him because he was getting away from shooting someone else. They weren't just chasing him, for the hell of it. They were chasing him because he had shot someone and he was basically running away. So that's why they chased him. And once he was pushed down on the ground, he was basically a scared little kid with a gun, and he started shooting. Yes, the man that he shot his arm, he did have a gun, but he wasn't. He was basically trying to wrestle the gun away from him.
Well, you
He
didn't know
wasn't
that.
trying to shoot him.
You didn't know that because the
Can
guy
I?
never made physical contact with him. He was right in front of. Okay, so what I would say is this, right? Because I'm not defending the guy, but all I would say is this: if in self defense, as far as the court, I believe that was justice as far as self defense of that law, right? Like the Second Amendment to bear arms, but they did it the right way for the white for the white man, for that white boy. But if it was a black dude in that situation, I don't believe they would have handled it the right way. And you know what I'm saying? I believe they handled it the right way as far as the way, he wasn't guilty on none of it. Because in that whole video, that was self-defense. But if that was a black dude, I don't believe that would have been self-defense. That's all I'm saying. But I do believe they handled it the right way, but they only selectively handled it because he was a white man. That's the only reason I'm saying
Correct.
that.
They interpreted how they wanted to interpret it for him, and they can interpret it differently if it had been a black
Right.
juvenile.
And can I say something
That's one
too?
thing I would say.
I'm waiting too. Let me know when I can speak.
Well, let me say something really quick. Well, maybe it might not be quick, but I just want to say something real fast. But like it was something that Robbie said about black people who try to be intelligent and things like that, or try to speak intelligent. That number one right there, or just assuming that somebody who has a certain opinion likes Fox News or CNN, I feel like that segregation within ourselves is the reason why we cannot prosper, because instead of us having different opinions and allowing different opinions and talking and coming together, we name call and then we attack each other and then we segregate within ourselves. But as far as him going around pointing guns at people, that was actually the prosecution's main case. That was what they were trying to prove the whole time, which it came out that he wasn't pointing the gun. There was one time that they tried to say he pointed the gun, but they used a footage that was edited by one of their people, and the guy basically confirmed that it wasn't peer reviewed. He didn't compare it to the original to make sure that he didn't change the image. It was just a whole bunch of mess, so it ended up coming out that he never pointed his gun at people. Like, he wasn't walking through the street pointing his gun at people. He was literally just walking down the street yelling, friendly, anybody need help, helping people. And then they started chasing him. And even Newsy, what you said, I agree with a lot of the stuff that you said, but it was one thing that you said about him, about the crowd chasing him because he shot somebody. The same people who was initially chasing him, that was ambushing him, they were hiding behind cars and stuff. And it was a video that was actually recorded that shows they seen him coming, and then they disappeared from the camera, and then one guy popped up from behind the car when he got up there. They ambushed him. And mind you, the same guy who ambushed him told him that when I see you later, if I catch you by yourself, I'm going to kill you. Right. So then they catch him by himself. They ambush him. They start chasing him. He shoot one of them. He keeps running. The same people who he shot, they were from the first crowd. So they were the same people. It was more people who joined in when they heard, oh, he shot somebody. But the main people who he ended up shooting in the end, they were from the initial crowd who ambushed him.
Hustle Crow in the chat. Being a white man and having your position, I want you to click on so we can hear your side. You don't have to be on camera, but just click the link and that I just put in the chat and tell me your position. You can opt to just turn on your mic and not your camera, because you're saying that, I want to hear your perspective from a white man's point of view, because from your point of view, you're disagreeing with Mawu. So I kind of want to hear.
He peeped the
Hey,
BS.
hey, Nick.
You don't gotta be black to peep the BS.
Hey, Yusuf, hold up. I don't want to interrupt nobody, but I'm about to get out of here. But the main reason why everybody's upset, okay, we get it, it's white on white, problems. But black people are just upset about, okay, it's clearly self-defense, but there's been many of times before where black people had this same problem or the same issue with self-defense, either with our own race or another race of people. But clearly it was self-defense. We never got the justice that, us as the people deserve, as far as black people having these same situations. They handled it the right way for him because he was white. That's why they're upset. Is that you can pick and choose and select when you want to use the law the right way towards different people. That's all I'm trying to say.
But you know that the reason, like, if we push our cases higher to where it's in the media, then they will have no choice. When all eyes are looking, you have no choice but to follow the books. Yes, I do agree, but it's like, like I said, the black boy who got shot in the last protest, I'm sure half of the people that think that they care so much, I'm sure y'all don't even know his name because it wasn't made big. And if it was made big, we could have watched and put our eyes on it to make sure that, it went through the proper way. But the jurors decide. The jurors are regular people in the city who decide in the end. Y'all act like it's like some Supreme Court heads that decide every
Because
single
it is,
case.
young lady. It is. Can I say something so I don't boil over? I'm just saying, because you keep bringing up the city and state. I want to say this. The city and state, the laws is different. But one thing about the cities and states, they all got in common. They are part of this devil nation. And let's not act like they're not all a part of the racist history and fabric of America. Every city and state in America has a racist history. Okay. And in one way or another, the backbone is that system. Okay. And if it's about self-defense, that's fine. But this the thing, we can't even defend ourselves in our home. Breonna Taylor's boyfriend was considered wrong for wanting to defend her, and then every time they consider us, we're dangerous and we're unarmed. Like having a gun is a crime. When it's a black person with a gun, they say it's a criminal weapon. But when they have a gun, it's all about how important it is to have a gun to defend you and yours. He went and did what he did. It was almost a typical white identity extremist shooting. Okay, it really was. And even though it was in self-defense, and if that would have been a black person, that they would have had the slammer, the hammer, and the gavel, if not, would have been shot on sight, considered armed and dangerous. Okay. And the jury of not their peers. Okay. Race has everything to do with it when it comes down to the fabric of America. A lot of we can't even decide that the reason that we need to unite. See, we can all say, well, we're divided for this and we're divided for that and we're divisive for that. But we don't realize that the whole thing that we're divided from is uniting to fight against that force.
All right. So I'm going to end on that note. We have gone long enough. I wanted to make time or make room for the one guy in the chat to come on, but he hasn't come on. And I feel like at this point, we've already, like Mawu already laid down her facts. You laid down yours. I've said my position. Everybody has pretty much said, what their positions are. So I feel like at this point we can end this.
You're right. It was a good discussion. I'm glad I can get that out. And can I just say the last thing about the black pastors? They didn't want that because that's evil. They all clicked in the gear. Joe Osteen would have been acceptable. I'm going to just let it go because black people got divinity. All right. I love y'all.
Wait. Can I say one more thing?
I was waiting.
I feel like
Robbie is delusional.
Robbie says something which I actually agree with too. The fact that like this may like people, maybe white people who didn't really watch the case really well, they just kind of hearsay, oh, a white man walking down the street with a gun and got away with it. Maybe they might get more like boldened, like, oh, okay, well, we can do it too. But for me, I feel like what should even be more fearful of us black people, what I don't see nobody talking about is the fact that we have gotten to a point in our world, our society, where white men with fire are walking down the street, setting our cars and our buildings on fire, and we don't say nothing about that. That's what I fear more than anything, is the fact that these white men are using all these titles to make it to where they feel like it's okay to come into our neighborhoods, because the neighborhoods they were burning down were black neighborhoods, and they were burning people's cars and setting their stuff on fire right before they got shot. That is my problem.
Hello?
That's what we should talk about in fear.
Could I just say one last thing?
Go ahead.
All I want to say was, if he was an EMT or he came there to watch property, the law states you can't even shoot vandalizers, looters. You can't even, there's laws and rules behind engagement. You're not a law enforcement officer. If you came down there with a camera, there were white people there that were protesting, that were counter protesting, that didn't have the same result he had. The protesters didn't kill anybody. When you're adding gasoline to a situation that's already volatile because there had already been 3 high profile killings and there had been in police brutality became a political issue, had been an issue for years. So you're going to go into that situation claiming that you're there to render aid. Nobody else had the same result that you had because, in other words, there was no reason to have the gun because by the legal standpoint, you couldn't shoot somebody if you saw them vandalizing anyway. You don't need a gun if you're going to render medical aid to somebody, or if you're just going to report and call the cops. He could have made himself less imposing, and he could have just blended in with the crowd. And I guarantee you, if he would have had a camera, and even if he would have been saying his point, I guarantee you that nobody would have attacked him.
And just so you guys are all clear, everybody in this situation to me is wrong. The little boy that was out there with the gun shouldn't have had a gun. The protesters that were peacefully minding their business and the people who were burning buildings shouldn't have been out there burning buildings and shooting guns out there. Everything in that whole night was just a mess, right? But if we're focusing on the
wait, let's go to Hustle Crow before the stream ends. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Unmute you have to unmute your mic.
Yes, hello, thank you. Calling from New York. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. We can hear you.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I can tell you, I'm familiar with many white people as a white person, and there are very, very huge pockets of these guys who play Call of Duty all day, who watch InfoWars and all these conspiratorial channels, and they're bored. And the psychology of what they do is preemptively on that like cusp of things into wanting to go into that type of environment and cause hostilities. Like they're itching for that.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying basically in his mind he wanted to do a real life Call of Duty and he went there purposely. That's kind of what
absolutely.
But that's the prosecutors try to put that out there too, right? And that they looked into his history and they had no history of him like being like a heavy gamer. They looked at
He
like all
has
the
a
social
Proud
media.
Boys tattoo. He has
had what?
white power tattoo. He was drinking in a white power bar after it.
He had what?
Amen, Hustle. Amen for telling the truth.
She said he had a Proud Boys tattoo, and you said a white power tattoo. What'd you say?
That's the fact.
Well, I didn't see that in the case brought up, but there are racist people that we deal with every day at the grocery stores, doctors, lawyers, police officers. All I am simply stating is that in this situation, right, as far as the part of the, not the rioting and the all the things that led up to it, when you strictly just remove everything else and you focus on the things that led up to him shooting those people, it was literally self-defense. He tried to run away, whether he was being a badass or whatever he was trying to show out, whatever it is that he was trying to do or what they were trying to do. In the end, when it came down to it, where a person's judgment comes into play, he tried to leave the situation. He ran, he tried to hide, they chased him down, they hit him in the head with things. I mean, to me, the guy had to shoot for self-defense. Now, whether he was racist, whether he came down there,
yeah, but he played cat and mouse with him. It was a preemptive and provoking thing.
Where does he have that tattoo at? Because people are saying he doesn't have that tattoo.
The way that he maneuvered that.
Hustle wait, Hustle Crow, where you said he had a Proud Boys tattoo. The people in the chat saying that he doesn't have that tattoo.
Well, I might have that incorrect.
And do you see the problem that just occurred here?
He
I
threw up the
as a
white power hand sign. That's
I
what he was saying
as an
in the
African
picture.
woman, right, have
Right,
made
right. Thank
statements.
you.
This man who you've already confirmed is a white man has come in here and made his statements. And
Thank
do
you.
you see how Robbie, a black man who supports black people, automatically sided with the white? Oh, thank you, brother, without even confirming if it's true or not. You don't even know if it's true or not, right? But you will
You
automatically
don't know what
side
I
with
was
the white
confirming with him
people.
about. I'm talking about the white power sign. But
No,
you too
not just
big.
now.
You're
I'm
too.
talking about
No,
earlier when he first said it. You were like,
this
thank you,
guy
brother,
is
and then you
sitting
went
here
on mute.
telling you that. Listen, this guy's sitting here
That's
telling
the
you that
problem with
there's
our
white
community. We
supremacists
turn
that
against
have
each
been
other
training.
and support the
No, no,
white
no.
people.
There is a big difference. This white supremacist is sitting here telling you the same thing that I've been trying to say.
So
These
now
guys
you're
have been.
calling him a white
You're cutting me
supremacist?
off. They've been training for
How
decades.
do
You
you know
understand
that
what I'm
this
saying,
man is a
Hustle?
white
But right
supremacist
now I'm
that's on the
talking to Hustle.
line?
I'm not talking to your bedwitching ass. I'm talking to Hustle.
Do you
What
see
I'm
how
trying to sit here and
ignorant
tell
he's
you.
getting? He's
No,
getting
that's not
angry.
ignorant because we're in
Oh
a
my
All
state
right,
of
God.
war. We're in a
Listen,
state of war and you're not
Robbie,
getting it. We're in a
Robbie,
state of war and you're not
all
getting
Robbie,
it.
right. Let's speak
like,
respectfully. Let's speak
right.
respectfully.
It's not even that. It's like, oh my
All
goodness.
I know is that I know these dudes who sit in their houses all day watching this stuff. It's indoctrination on a whole other level.
We know you know them.
All right. Well, on that note, I guess we can officially.
MG.
I guess we can officially end on that note. All right. Thank you. Now.
Bye.